Do we know what the long-term side effects of GLP-1s are? Let's go over it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel for another video today. If you are new here, my name is Brittany and I have lost 112 pounds on a GLP-1 and now I share all types of stuff here on my channel. So I would love to have you hit that subscribe button and stick around. But like I mentioned, today we are talking long-term side effects of a GLP-1, what we know about them and how long GLP-1s have actually been around and been studied. Now, if you saw my video on Monday where I was talking about what the schedule was going to look like for this week, this is a different video than what I said in that video. You know what I'm saying? So Melissa actually ended up getting sick and was not able to talk and film the part 2 of the interview. So fingers crossed that she feels better by early next week and we can get that out for you next Thursday. So little change of plans, but it's okay because we're going to talk long-term side effects. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. First off, I'm not a doctor. Always please talk to your healthcare provider about any decisions that could reflect your personal health journey. Okay, now GLP-1 receptor agonists have been studied for over 20 years. Oh my gosh, I don't even know why I said 20. It's like 40 years at this point. The first clinical studies actually took place in the late 1990s. We're going to go over a brief timeline of GLP-1 research just so that you can get a grasp. I feel like it's important to be able to have a grasp of just how long GLP-1s have been being studied, because there's a lot of misinformation out there of, oh, this is such a new medicine and you don't know what it's going to do to you in 5 years and all of the things, all of the noise that we hear online. There's so much of it. So I wanted to give this brief timeline. I'm not going to go too heavy into it. If you want a video on full heavy into timeline research of GLP-1 development, let me know in the comments and I can definitely do that. But this is a brief little whatever. You guys know my brain. Okay. So in the 1980s, this was the first discovery of the GLP-1. Okay. And so what that means by discovery, this is the first time that a synthetic version of the GLP-1 hormone was invented and tested against the treatment of diabetes and blood sugar regulation. Now, it even goes back further to the 70s when scientists and researchers were first realizing that something in the gut was controlling blood sugar regulation, but it hadn't quite been given a name, it hadn't quite been discovered yet. But in the 70s, the groundwork was being laid. They were starting to realize that something in the gut was driving blood sugar regulation. In the 80s, that is when that happened, okay? And this was the first synthetic version of the GLP-1 that was used in studies. In the 1990s, studies began using synthetic versions of GLP-1s, and this is when we're starting to test out treatment for diabetes in real human patients, okay? Then in 2005, we have Byetta being approved, which was the first official GLP-1 that was approved for treatment of diabetes, 2005. We are in 2025. So that means officially a GLP-1 has been FDA approved for use in humans for 20 years, okay? And these were obviously earlier versions of a GLP-1, but still all a version of a GLP-1 that is being used to mimic the hormone of the GLP-1 in the body, okay? In 2010 to 2014, liraglutide, dulaglutide, which are Victoza and Trulicity, respectively, were approved for use of diabetes. So again, now we have by 2014, we have 3 GLP-1s that have been approved for use and treatment of diabetes. 2017, we have semaglutide being approved, which we all know is Wegovy or Ozempic. Well, that was specifically Ozempic in 2017. In 2021, Wegovy was approved for weight loss, and then we have tirzepatide following shortly after in 2022 to 2023. 2022 for diabetes and Mounjaro, and then the end of 2023, Zepbound was approved for weight loss, okay? Now, it's been around for a long time. Brief recap, obviously. Recap, that's the word I was looking for earlier. It's like recap, okay. But there are so many studies that are going on right now that are trying to find out all of the wide scale benefits of GLP-1 use. Many of the studies, this is important, have been extended to a 10-year following timeline. All of the studies previously were 5 years. So there's not much data following people for longer than 5 years, but that should be coming out shortly as all of these studies have been extended. Now, there's not studies that follow people for longer than 5 years, right? But like there's people that have been on a GLP-1 since 2005. So that's 20 years. Just keep that in mind as we go through. Now, I say this to make it clear that GLP-1s have been around for a very long time. There's active trials in humans. There's studies that have been going on for 30 years. So while we know a lot, do we know everything? No, but we do know a lot about the potential long-term side effects. If there are plenty of people that have been on Byetta, started on Byetta, and then have gone on to other GLP-1s over 20 years. We do have data on what may or may not happen to those people, okay? So there are common side effects, right? So they're kind of categorized in common and uncommon. So your common are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Some people have been known, or studies have shown that some people do suffer from these things chronically. Most people, those side effects go away, okay? But there are some people who they don't. And those people make up a large majority of the people that end up quitting GLP-1s. You hear about people dropping out of trials or just people in real life that stop taking it after 6 months to a year. 9 times out of 10, if you go and look at data, their reported reason for stopping is side effects or cost. It's literally always side effects or cost, always. So these people, you tend to see them drop out, okay? Then we have others, which are more serious side effects that have been shown to happen. So we're going to separate them into these have happened and these have the potential of happening. Okay, so these have happened. Gastroparesis, which is when your stomach essentially stops working. There are plenty of lawsuits involving Wegovy for this specific thing. I've not heard of any lawsuits, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, that tie tirzepatide to this, but semaglutide has been known there are some lawsuits saying that gastroparesis was something that these people suffer with afterwards. And essentially it means that the medicine caused your stomach to stop the digestion process completely, which is a very scary thing and very dangerous, obviously. And so these people are not able to go to the bathroom or have food processed naturally through their body without some significant help. And again, there are a lot of lawsuits going on about this, but still the number of people that are experiencing this based on the number of people that have been on semaglutide is a very, very, very small number, but it does happen. Side effects or not side effects, symptoms of this are persistent bloating, discomfort, pain when eating, and constipation that you just cannot get to pass on its own. Then you should definitely see a doctor. Typically, people that suffer with constipation, the symptoms, the side effects that won't go away, the nausea, the vomiting, the diarrhea, that have that chronically, if you go back and look at some of the people that are suing the makers of Wegovy over it, they typically suffered from some more side effects to begin with. But again, that can happen. Pancreatitis, rare but serious. If you have any of the symptoms of pancreatitis, pain in your back, significant pain on the side, and that radiates to the back, please go to your doctor, go to the ER, go somewhere, get some help. That is a very rare side effect, but it can happen. It has been shown to happen. There are cases in humans of it happening. Okay, this is a good distinction. Like it's happened in a human because some of these potential ones have happened in like non-humans, mice and stuff, not necessarily has shown up in a human yet. Okay, gallbladder inflammation. So this is listed in pretty much all research that you look up. However, it's most often followed up with, most likely this is actually because of rapid weight loss and not because of the medicine. So people that lose weight rapidly from a variety of ways, like just calorie counting, keto diet, any GLP-1 use anyway, have had instances of gallbladder inflammation, gallstones, needing to have their gallbladder removed, all of that. So it's present in GLP-1 use, but it's unclear if it is directly tied to the GLP-1 or just because of prolonged side effects or rapid weight loss. What number are we on? 4, nutrient deficiencies. This one makes total sense, okay? If you are eating less, if you're taking in less, if your body is absorbing less and slower than it used to, then you can absolutely end up with some nutrient deficiencies that can chronically cause other problems in your life, okay? If you are chronically deficient in iron or in vitamin D or in vitamin C or in vitamin K or all the other nutrients that our body needs, those can lead to several other health ailments down the road. And so that is why everybody that's on a GLP-1 will tell you that taking a good multivitamin is important, making sure that what you are eating, because we are able to eat a lot less, right? Everybody knows that, but making sure that what you are eating is nutrient dense and is going to fuel your body, because with being able to take in so little, you need the nutrients for your body. So you don't want to have prolonged nutrient deficiencies. Vitamins and minerals are needed in your body. There's a reason why you need them for all different health functions in your body. So like, take a multivitamin, make sure that you're eating good, healthy foods, leafy greens, and vegetables that provide you with those potassium and those key nutrients are very important, okay? So like, obviously the nutrient deficiency one, you have some type of control over. The other 3, you really don't. That's just, it happens to some people and it doesn't happen to others. Now, potential side effects. The biggest one you hear about is cancer. Now, there was actually a recent study that came out that Melissa actually shared with me. Yay, Melissa. She's like my little article finder. She sends me articles all the time. She sent me this article talking about how the overall cancer risk in GLP-1 use is like 17% lower versus somebody not taking a GLP-1, which is like so cool. But you hear it thrown around all the time about tirzepatide, and I'm pretty sure Wegovy having the black box warning of thyroid cancer, where as if you have somebody that has medullary thyroid cancer, you're not in your family, you're not supposed to take Mounjaro or tirzepatide because you may have a precursor to also developing that, okay? Everybody has heard that warning. It should be clear that rats developed the medullary thyroid cancer, okay? So like, it's never actually shown up that I have seen to this date, and I've done a lot of research, in a human. So that one's a little, it's a potential. May it happen? Yes. Could it be that 20 years from now, that's not a black box warning anymore? Also, yes. So, just something to watch out for. You are supposed to tell your doctor if you have a history of thyroid cancer in your family, if you have a history of pancreatitis personally, you're supposed to tell your doctor these things. And that is why a lot of these side effects, there's things that you can do. Obviously, just making sure that you're a good candidate for a GLP-1, and doing so is by telling your doctor everything, which is why I love the fact that I go to my primary doctor to get my, that I see, well, I should say I don't anymore. I use a telehealth, but I did start with him. And so he has followed me this entire time, and he continues to follow me, and he knows everything. He knows, my entire family history. And that is what I love about that, is that he made the decision based on me as a whole and not just on a questionnaire I filled out online, right? So I think that being completely, like, I know we all want to lose weight, okay? I know that. I'm with you. I am that person as well. However, if you are dishonest about having a history of pancreatitis or having a nutrient deficiency going in, or having gallbladder problems, or having these problems, then you might be setting yourself up for some of these issues that could have been otherwise avoided. There's just some people that don't qualify, and that sucks, but you can avoid like dying. So that's also kind of cool, So anyway, there's my little soapbox spiel about that. Be honest with your doctor about your family history. It is so important for your health, okay? Okay, so the next potential side effects are mental health changes. I put this as a potential because some people say it is very split, okay? Actually, it's like 3-way tied. So you have people that's mental health significantly improves when they're on a GLP-1, people who notice no difference, and people who have bad thoughts and extreme anxiety and depression. It's very mixed, and it seems to be very personal. And so that is why it is a potential long-term side effect, because it's like literally so up in the air on who is affected, how they're affected, when they're affected, all of that. So I really think that is one that more research and more like stuff needs to be considered before we know. And then obviously muscle loss is one, but that is actually being debated right now, whether or not the GLP-1 itself causes muscle loss, or again, it's a rapid weight loss type of thing. Now, there's a new emerging side effect, which is quite interesting, and that is ENT side effects. So if you don't eat, ENT is ear, nose, and throat. So recently, significant loss of smell, dry mouth, altered taste, and even Bell's palsy, which is when the one side of your face like droops or whatever. That is actually a virus. That is an ENT thing. Some people think it might not be. ENT is actually where I used to work when I was in the medical field. That is where I worked, was in ENT. And so I know a lot about that. So Bell's palsy is actually an ENT thing, fun fact. But anyways, Bell's palsy is a virus. Typically that goes away. A very good case of that recently is Joel Embiid. He is a NBA player. He suffered last year. If you watch the NBA, if you watch sports, it was a huge thing. He had a case of Bell's palsy last year. I think it's gone away, but it is a virus. And a lot of the times it goes away. Sometimes you're unlucky and it doesn't. But people are talking about this apparently. So do you have any of these problems? If you notice a loss of smell, dry mouth, altered taste, which we talked about last week, go watch that video if you didn't see it, and Bell's palsy. Liraglutide specifically has been linked to dysphonia, which is voice changes. A good example of that is Brian Luttrell from the Backstreet Boys, who had those voice problems after having a virus. Again, kind of similar. He suffered from that, and he's still been getting better. But like your voice suddenly drops. You're suddenly not able to sing the way you used to be. Your voice box does not work in the same way that it did previously. And then liraglutide has also been tied to tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears. I know all the ENT things, and Bell's palsy. Now, this is being showed most recently, which is why I say it's an emerging side effect, by the 2025 analysis for the FDA adverse events reports, which is when people go and report some type of side effect to the FDA from a GLP-1 or any other medication. Okay, so this is where that info is being pulled from. So what we know about prolonged use, to sum all of this up, okay, the benefits of prolonged use are continued blood sugar control, rate reduction, and reduced cardiovascular risk. Tolerability is good for most people. There are some people that have prolonged GI side effects, but most often those side effects improve. And most people who take one of these GLP-1s for diabetes have been able to stay on it for diabetes for all time, right? Research groups, like I said, some stuff just isn't known. Research studies have been pushed to 10 years versus 5, which I think will tell us a lot. But again, there is just so much from people that have been on a GLP-1 for 20 plus years that we can learn. But I think that it'll be good for everybody to feel better about things if some of these studies are extended. So I think that's a good move for sure. But yeah, I mean, we know for sure about the benefits of prolonged use. Most of the side effects are very individualized and up and down and potentials. So it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, I hope this helps like sum everything up and wrap it all into a bow for you, to help you know that GLP-1s can be, again, with the guidance of your doctor, a very good option for diabetic control, weight loss control, cardiovascular control, fatty liver disease. We could go on and on about PCOS and migraines and all the things that they can help with. Hopefully you and your doctor can decide whether or not the benefits of that outweighs your specific risks. So always be honest with your doctor about all of the things. And yeah, I hope this video helped you guys. If it did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, guys. Bye.